I think I looked 20 years older 10 years ago.
You're going backwards, mate.
Yeah.
You're Benjamin Button over there.
I am Benjamin Buttoning it over here.
Think you'll get as small as Benjamin Button one day.
Gee, I hope so. I hope I'm just a weird little...
What is it with you and I and nachos? We love our nachos.
I know.
Remember that time that we shared a nachos at the ship-in?
Hoping to meet a prince. King Charles, who I still call
He's a
Prince
nacho
Charles.
fan.
He's a massive for nachos. Everybody knows that. Can we be real, Bagsy? How's it going?
Mate, bit of nachos at lunch. How was...
You look fine. You're really self-conscious that you've got nachos on you, but I don't think you have. I think you're good.
We're all good in the black.
My mic's drooping again a bit, I think.
You got a flopper.
No, I've got a bit of a flop going on. I've got a flop on. That'll be all right. Yeah, I said we look like we're stagehands in an amateur production of something, but that's all right. It's all good. Melbourne Black.
Melbourne Black, mate.
Even though
we look great in Melbourne Black.
We do. We're in the sizzle. We're in Sydney in the sizzle, which
yeah.
is always a bit magical.
Do you want to go out tonight?
No, I don't. No, I want to do
mean?
what I did last night, which was I went back to the hotel.
What shitty show did you watch? Not bloody Nine Life?
No, Better Call Saul. I'm doing a rewatch.
Better Call Saul? Is that a movie?
Are you joking? It's one of the best shows that was ever made in the whole world.
What was it about?
It was the spin-off from Breaking Bad.
Oh my I didn't even get into Breaking Bad either. No, but yeah, right. How was it? Is it good?
Yeah. It's good. Jesus Christ. Is Better Call Saul good?
No, but I always feel like the second round, it's always shit.
Oh, nah.
Like The Hangover 2, not as good as The Hangover 1.
Quite different to The Hangover 2.
Home Alone 2?
I would
not
say
as good.
Better Call Saul's quite different to both of those examples that you're giving me. But last night I went back to the hotel. I had a bath. You know, I don't have a bath in my house, so that's magical for me. A beautiful big bath. Then I ordered nachos.
Oh, yeah.
And watched Better Call Saul. I mean, it was the best night I can remember in a really long time.
What is it with you and I and nachos? We love our nachos.
I know.
Remember that time that we shared a nachos at the ship-in?
Do love it at the ship-in, hoping to meet a prince.
2 a.m. in the morning, and you and I just smashing the bloody nachos, spilling it all over ourselves.
I reckon that's the last time I had nachos. Before last night, and now you've doubled up and had them today. I couldn't face them again today.
You wouldn't even share it with me today.
Nah, it's just like, it looks like a really good nachos, but no. Wasn't into it. But this reminds me of what I wanted to talk to you about, which I will come back to it. King Charles, who I still call Prince Charles. He's a massive for nachos. Everybody knows that. But I read, this is sad, that King Charles can't ride horses anymore. Oh my God. He's a horse guy.
Okay.
He's too old. He's
not that old. He's only like 72.
But he's sick as well, and his medical people apparently have said,
no more horses.
Your Majesty, ixnay on the horsenay. Horsehay? No more horses. You can't ride the horses anymore. Right. So, you know, they had that ceremony every year. I think it's called the Trooping of the Colour, where the Queen used to do it too. She'd be side saddled and she'd ride the first horse out. He used to ride it out. He's got to go the carriage now, which must be really humiliating. I think that's... Carriages are for princesses. Yeah. His horse riding days are over, and I'm sure he's very, very sad about that because, as I said, he's a horse guy. Yeah. And it reminded me of one time I was talking to John Cleese. Clang, name drop.
Well, yeah, but for some of us...
All right, I know. From
John Cleese is from...
Monty Python.
Yes. Is that right?
Yes.
Why is that funny? Like, I'm like trying to think of who's this bloke again?
It's just funny that our references are so different and so
Fawlty, but even Fawlty Towers is super old. Like, there could be someone listening to us going, guys, if this is
fully.
So
most people are going, yeah, I get it. For generations of people, he's just never heard his
ancient.
name. Yeah. But he still does live shows.
Does he really?
Yeah. He has to because he had an expensive divorce. Oh. So he was in Australia a couple of years ago, and he might have even called it the alimony tour or something. Wow. Like, he was very upfront about. Yeah.
I need this.
Also met his daughter, Camilla Cleese, who is a comedian. She is a great, great girl, great woman. So anyway, as I say, dropping names, but I'm talking to John Cleese this one day, and somehow we got around to, he was telling me that his surname was originally Cheese. Like his forefathers, right? They were cheesemakers, and so their surname was Cheese. Right back in the days when you'd go, I'm a baker, so I guess I'll be Gary Baker.
Is that how it worked out?
It did, yeah, in England.
So what does lorry mean?
I don't know, because it was certainly made up before truck lorries. So I don't know where it comes from. It's a Scottish name, but I don't know what it meant. But anyway, so he's saying, my forefathers were Cheeses, John Cheese, but then his grandfather or somebody changed it to Cleese.
More fancy.
Right. And then he says, which is sadly ironic because the doctors have just told me I can't eat cheese anymore. And he and I were both struck by the sadness of that because cheese is so great.
Yeah.
He's a big cheese lover. I'm a big cheese lover. And we were just going, God. And then we got onto the just going, fuck, how fucked is getting older? Like when your doctor just says to you one day, oh, and by the way.
No more horses and no more cheese.
For the rest of your horse days are over. Yeah. Your cheese days. Imagine a doctor saying, okay, Simon, all good, except one more thing. Your cheese days over.
Well, cheese for me, I think for me it would be no more natural confectionery.
That's what I was going to ask you. What is the thing that if a doctor said to you, because my dad famously, the doctor said to him, okay, you can't, you got type 2 diabetes. You need to make all these lifestyle changes. And basically for my father, what it boiled down to is no more beer or Chinese food. And he said, if I can't have beer and Chinese, I'd rather be dead. And he meant that. Yeah. And he continued to eat Chinese and drink beer and he died.
But how long did he last?
He lasted...
Because when he got told that, did he get like another 5 or 10 years out of it?
Well, yeah, but he obviously got a fright initially because it was about... How long? Well, you know what? I was pregnant. So he had a heart attack and I think it was after the heart attack they said, okay, you got to seriously knuckle down.
Yeah.
So, and I was pregnant at that time and he died 5 years ago. So about 10 years he got, but he
got 10 years of beer and Chinese, mate. I mean, this is the thing. Would you,
and not quite
would you want those 10 years without it?
I'm sure he knuckled down for a little while after the heart attacks.
Yeah.
So yeah, but yeah, he got 10 years, but the last 5 were pretty shit.
Yeah. Have you heard these, like the biohackers?
I thought you were going to ask me if I've heard from him.
No, you know how the biohackers are talking about our, obviously we've got a lifespan.
Yeah.
Which, might go from 0 through to 85 or whatever. But what's our health span?
Right.
Because everyone talks about, I want to live to 100. Yeah,
yes.
But from 80 to 100 is shit. So if you can extend your health span to 95 and then make those last 5 years a little bit shit. So you got to hold your chin up like this. My grandma, my great-grandma used to have to sit at the table with her arm, this is probably the last 5 to 10 years of her life, her arm on the table like this just to hold her fucking neck up. Like,
what?
Health span, not going great there. Because her fucking neck should just go straight down like that.
What? I've never heard
for anyone
of
listening
that.
to that, basically her neck would just like flop down. She had to hold her arm under her chin to hold it up.
Oh my God.
Yeah, like you don't want to be living like that for 5 years.
No. I've heard of that over the last couple of years. I've definitely heard people saying, hey, like it's all good and well for people to say, people now, our lifespan will be so much longer, but how much of that will be happy and will be useful and, not awful, like having to hold your own head up at the table. Fuck, I've never heard of that before, mate. New nightmare unlocked.
I remember being at the Cronulla RSL, sitting across from her thinking, it would have been like, I don't know, 12 or 13, just looking at it going, gee whiz.
Remember looking at old people and thinking that. I'll never forget Donna's son coming to my house one day when my father was living in the granny flat, and it was so adorable. He was about 5 and my old man's just yabbering away at him, little fella, little tacker, this and that, and he just was staring at him. And then it's like I don't know if he thought he was real because he just was staring and he goes, what's wrong with him's face? It was so cute because him was standing right there. It was like he thought he was not real. It's like, and because at that stage my dad was nearly blind and his eyes looked weird and plus unshaven and plus all the other things. But what's wrong with him's face?
This reminds me, there's someone that put a picture in the closed Facebook group, this is about 3 or 4 weeks ago now, of Ellen and Portia over in the UK, and they're saying that they're potentially going to be looking to move back to the US.
Doubt it.
But some of the comments on Ellen is that Ellen, and as you know, huge fan, got nothing negative to say about that lady. I think she's great.
What's wrong with him's face?
Well, she's looking like old AF.
You know what? Because she's given up on TV face. I've said this is
roundabout.
Hell,
TV face, mate. I mean,
yeah, because she's probably not having all her Botox, all her fillers, all the things that she's been using to jack her face up for TV.
Yeah. She's just letting it loose.
Once you let it loose, mate, I believe it drops pretty quick. Now, I hope to never find out for myself, but...
So do you think you would look a lot different now? Are you serious?
I know I would.
What do you think?
This is
we should get a map up where we can see what you'd actually look like.
This is so fucked, but...
What do you mean?
It's potentially mean. I just want to tell you something I did with the kids the other day. And for some reason, a name popped into my head of a girl I went to school with. I liked her, great girl. And I just, every now and then a name pops in and I think, Facebook and see if, but it's harder with women because we get married, we change our names. It's sometimes you can't find them. I found this lady on Facebook that I went to school with. And I took it to my children, my phone, and I said, do you want to know what I would look like now if I still lived in Toowoomba, essentially? And they were like, what do you mean? And I showed them the photo of this lady. Now, this lady, I'll just say, looked a lot older than me.
Same age, though?
Yeah, we went
exactly
to school.
The same age.
Exactly the same age. And
so your environment can really change your...
I believe so. Now, imagine if I never...
I would have thought where you live... being a cap
Altona,
city, being in a cap city with all the stress of living in a cap city.
I know, right?
And a big cap city in Australia with 5.5 million people.
Fastest growing in the nation.
Fastest growing in the nation, outgrowing Sydney now. I would say that would be more stressful than Toowoomba. So I wonder why, I mean, obviously I
think the expectation, like I'm in the western suburbs, but all the mums I know, we take care of ourselves. Like no one just goes, I'll just let my face collapse. Oh, well. It's what happens. No, I don't know any woman who thinks that way. Like when we have lunches, when we get together, we're discussing, okay, what's the latest thing? What are you trying? What's working? I'm taking collagen.
Give us your tips. If someone's listening right now, what are you doing?
Well, literally collagen powder every morning, drinking it. I'll go and have micro needling once a month and someone will go,
and you guys really believe that this stuff is helping or is it just
the photos
some kind
don't
of...
lie.
No, but like...
I mean, mate, I will take you through my Facebook. Like, no shade, and it sounds like I'm being super shady, but it's just...
How much older do you think she looks? What's the age gap?
It's hard to say because I'm not saying I look 30, but I'm saying it's just a very different vibe.
Hairdo?
Yeah.
What's a Toowoomba hairdo these days?
Well, it's more like, how I say if I look at the old photos of myself where I was a mess and I call it Auntie Pat, look at Auntie Pat. I think I looked 20 years older 10 years ago.
Yeah.
So it's all of those things that...
You're going backwards, mate.
Yeah.
You're Benjamin Button over there.
I am Benjamin Buttoning it over here. But it's a process. It's expensive. It takes a lot of focus, more focus every year. Do you
think you'll get as small as Benjamin Button one day?
Gee, I hope so. I hope I'm just a weird little fetal fucking weird doll on the porch with my kids. I hope so. But, God, that's a creepy movie, isn't it?
Isn't it? Who thought of that idea?
Who convinced Brad Pitt and Kate Blanchett to do this creepy fucking... Oh, that movie. It makes me a little bit queasy when I think about that movie.
The image of them on that front porch as well right at the end.
Yeah, it's
Is that the end or the beginning?
I think it's the end because she's old and he's...
That's right, yeah, he's
tiny.
He's
kind of tiny, but he's still
but he
fucked
dies.
up. Yeah.
Yeah, he dies on the porch, doesn't he?
I can't remember. It was so off-putting to me. I think I was watching it like this. Oh.
Yeah.
But you're Brad Pitt, but shit.
Yeah, wow.
So look, you got to put in, and all Ellen's done is she's given up, but I think she's given up. I think she's doing it as rebellion. Some women sometimes do it as rebellion. Helen Hunt's done the same thing. Remember her from Mad About You?
Yeah.
And now she's in Hacks in the TV show that's on Stan in Australia, but great show. Gene Smart and all that.
Now, I saw this article a few weeks ago about Helen Hunt.
Yeah.
I thought she was a bit older because I was a big fan of Twister. The movie,
oh, same.
Right?
Yeah, same.
And so I remember being a kid seeing that thinking, oh, that's an old, like not old lady, but like that she's a woman.
Yeah.
So when I think she's in her 50s.
No, mate. She can't be. She can't be because I was watching Mad About You when I was in high school.
Okay, so she's older.
She's got to be in her 60s.
She's got to be in her 60s.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. and looks it. And I'm going to say, but she looks great for it.
Yeah.
She looks like a woman you go, what a fabulous looking older woman.
Yeah.
But she definitely looks like a woman who hasn't done a Kris Jenner. She hasn't been constantly jacking it back up every couple of years, every time it slips, which is what I intend to be, incidentally. But she talks about it's kind of a political statement on her behalf to age. And I think for actresses, that is a decision they have to make. They have to go, okay, if I age, it's going to become a thing.
Do they? I mean, because the thing is, as an actress.
Because none of them age.
Yeah, but don't we also need old actresses?
Yeah, but
to
how
play
many
old people?
How many are there? You can name them on one hand. Kathy Bates.
Right.
Who's that fabulous British lady everyone loves?
Who plays M in Mission Impossible?
Oh, yeah, Dame Judi Dench.
Dame Judi Dench.
In the Bond movies. Yeah, there's a handful of them who, and it's obviously very smart because now they get every role. Every time there's an old boiler needed for some show, they go, great, get her. If she's busy, we'll get the next one.
Well, maybe this is,
no.
If you want to get yourself a niche market,
I don't want
the
that.
old boiler niche market.
No, thank you. I'm happy to stay out of the market. No. Yeah, but I mean, you see Nicole Kidman going into boiler market? No. She is like, jack it back up.
But so how long can Nicole Kidman stay out of old boiler market? Can she do that right up till the end?
This is the question. I mean,
there's going to be a period where you get in there somehow.
I don't think so. I mean,
what do you mean?
How old is Kris Jenner? She's in her 60s. I mean, and look at her. I think this generation of women, and this is a new thing, we're watching the first generation of actresses who refuse to age. Really? Like Nicole, Aniston, Demi Moore.
Yeah.
These are really, they're pushing it. They're our canaries down the mine. We're just going to see, okay, how long can you refuse to age?
Because I remember my grandma at 60, right? And she looked like my grandma looked like you know how the Queen just always looked the same?
Yeah, cute.
So I think then that generation, like grandmas like to look like the Queen, right?
Yeah.
So they just had the same hair, short, right, with that, right?
Bit of curl.
Bit of a curl, right?
Set.
That was her vibe. But I remember that being her vibe
Cardigans.
from 55, 60 through to the end.
Mate, I remember my mum at my age, absolutely. Yeah, and she middle age in those days was when women went, oh, okay, it's over. Great.
Why don't you go with that kind of Queen vibe hair?
No. I've grown my hair because I think it's more youthful. I'm more focused than I've ever been in my life. When I was 20, 30, I was like, who fucking cares? Who cares? Who cares what I look like?
You shaved your head at one point.
I shaved my head. Who cares?
No, but not even just it was like...
Shaved.
Shaved.
Yes, for charity. But yeah, I mean, also for fun. Also for, this is kind of interesting. I don't care what I look like. Who fucking cares? I care more
but
now.
You do though.
I do now.
Right.
I didn't then. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, and I think obviously I'm a product of my surroundings, my generation. I'm watching these women and I'm going, okay. And like I said to you before, my kids say to me, are you just always going to look like this? And I go, yeah, I think so. I'm
What about
sure.
John Cleese? How's he looking?
Oh, he looks old. He's happy to go. He's like 90 or something and he's like, yeah, I'm an old fuck. I can't even eat cheese anymore.
Actually, you know who's an old fuck?
Who?
And he's made it to 100. He's in that kind of, what was the bloody movie? Now this is really embarrassing. I just brought up a guy and everyone's got to try and guess along with who I'm trying to go with. Had white hair.
Yes.
Oh, it's bloody Mary Poppins, the drum guy.
Dick Van Dyke.
Dick Van
Beautiful.
Dyke. He's still going, mate.
He's still going and he still have a little dance every now and then when he's out and about.
Right.
Yeah, the worst one was Gene Hackman. I remember, he died.
Out of Speed.
I guess. I don't know. My favourite Gene Hackman movie is The Birdcage, which is equally obscure. But obviously he had dementia. But, the last photo I saw of him was heartbreaking because he was always a tough guy. He was a robust, tough guy. Yep. And then he was a tiny, feeble man with a stick. And it was like, you're never going to see Nicole Kidman like that, mate. If anything, if she ever has to give in to feebleness, she will say, she'll be Greta Garbo. She'll say, hide me.
Well,
she will never let us see it.
Frankenfurter, what was his name?
Oh, yeah, Tim Curry.
Tim Curry. That's a really sad story where someone who, was such a big character and so robust.
Yes.
Can end that way.
I don't think any of these women will let that happen. I think my prediction is...
What will they do?
They will hide like Greta Garbo did. She hid for the last 30 years of her life. She was just
like... That's not good, though. That's not good.
I'm not saying it's good, but
Where do you hide?
she hid in her apartment in New York City but it was easier in those days because there were no camera phones. They got a couple of shots of her in the last decades, little tiny old lady out and about, but she just didn't go out much. She just famously retreated because she never wanted that perfect image of herself to be tainted.
That's not a way to live. Let everyone see.
It's making me wonder how these women will eventually face. Kris Jenner's mother is still alive, mate.
How does she look?
Great.
Really?
Fuck yeah.
Has she learned from Kris?
I think that the whole Kardashian family have just gone, you can keep jacking it up. Okay. So I think they're going to keep jacking it up. And I think if there is anything disastrous, aka dementia, they'll say, fucking hide me.
You know when someone's getting old and you look at them and you go, ooh, they haven't got much time left.
Yes.
Right? So you start to spend a bit more time with them and all that kind of thing. Do you think that Kris Jenner's kids are looking at her going, ooh, or they're thinking, plenty of time left.
Yeah.
So there's no need to worry too much here.
I think so.
And that could be a bit of a false alarm. Because if someone looks perfect or too good and then all of a sudden just drops dead because if you actually got to see what was going on behind the scenes where they were like...
You don't realise it. Inside they're still 90, even though outside...
Right.
Yeah, totally.
So maybe we need the warning signs that, hey, this person's about to fucking fall off the perch.
Of course. It's all, it's all natural and we're all kidding ourselves. I'm kidding myself. We're all kidding ourselves that just because I don't know if I've got grey hair because I haven't seen my natural hair in yet decades... It's still there.
But this is how we do know, right? Like I look at you and I think we're the same age, even though there's a bit of an age gap between us, right? But then when you talk about people like John Cleese, I go, there she is.
Yeah, absolutely. There she is. Whoa. There she is. Yeah, I mean, that's that online thing about, tell me you're old without telling me you're old. Yeah, things you remember. Obviously references. When I talk to you, when I go, well, it's like that. It's like Happy Days. And you're like, mate. But that dates me as a 70s kid.
Because I picture us, if we don't talk about age, I always just picture us in the same kind of zone.
Yes.
Like Sonia, who we know.
Yeah, yeah.
She's 5 years younger than me, but I just picture her and I in the same zone, right? Yeah. But I don't, it's funny, as soon as you do reference like a Happy Days, I look at you and go, oh hang on, we're at a school, we're like a grade 1 to 12 apart.
Yes, how funny.
Like when you were in grade 12, I was in grade 1.
It's like when I was in grade 2 and I begged Mum to let me ride to school so I could ride with the high school girls because they all rode and were super cool. It's like that gap.
Yeah.
Totally. Yeah. It's funny, isn't it? But at the same time, I really...
So, hang on, I need the warning sign then, mate, because if you're going to fucking die... Right? I'm not going to see it coming. I'm going to be here thinking, I've got years left. This is going to be fine.
Look, you probably do because, as my mum says, I could get hit by a bus tomorrow. But apart from that, with that aside, just like for the Jenners, they know that their nan is still alive, the Kardashian Jenners, their nan's still rocking around. So that gives them confidence in their mum. Like, Kris, she's going to live. She's fine. I have confidence in my mum. She's going to live forever because both her grandmothers did. Longevity is on both sides of my family. The women in both sides of my family live forever. So I think you're fine. I think, it's like I said to you, I'm looking forward to moving into an old age home in 30 years. I'll only be 82.
Yeah, but who starts looking forward to something 30 years out?
It's what keeps me alive and young. I've always got something to look forward to.
Also, you're also someone that if I said, hey, in 4 weeks' time we've got to go do something, you go, hey, mate, tell me the day before.
Right.
So how are you looking forward 30 years?
Talk to me about next Tuesday, next Monday night, okay? Because I don't want to think about the future. But this one I am looking forward to, I suppose.
Yeah, I think you just like the idea that like they're going to walk around with a cart of food and you just get to go, I'll have the muffin and the fucking this. And
I'll go to the dining room. I'm not an asshole. I'll go to the dining room with everybody. But
and you'll be playing Connect 4.
Oh, God. Doing a puzzle. I'll be doing a little puzzle of King William by then. Oh, it's going to be heaven.
Yeah. All right. Let's get into some secrets. If you've got a secret you want to share it on the podcast, you can go to the link in the bio or you can share them in the closed Facebook group as well. My mum found out I was on OnlyFans and then asked me to help her set up an account.
Oh, God. Well, this is something as well, isn't it? This is the age we live in.
I was mortified, but then she said, why should young girls be the only ones making money from this? She now does glamour over 50 content.
That's so cute.
We don't talk about it much, but yeah, she's got more subs than I do.
I wonder.
What are you thinking now?
I'm thinking about starting an OnlyFans. I could do glamour over 50s. I mean, you're looking at it. So...
What would you do? What?
Well, what is glamour over 50s? Is it just, those old-fashioned glamour shots, just a bit of like a blurry frame and me in a bra?
Well, that's a thing though. Younger guys like to go for the, cougar.
We know the MILF market is massive. The cougar market is massive. And as I say, the next one up's the saber-toothed tiger market. Also massive. Look, I don't doubt anything this lady's telling us. I don't doubt anything about it. And
we're in a new world, mate.
All right.
And we've spoken about this before.
Look at Denise Richards and her daughter.
Nudity becoming just a normal thing.
Nudity's normal. Everyone's, okay, you've seen my labia. Big fucking deal.
Well, is it a big deal, though? This is the question, because I'm sure there's people listening to this going, it's a fucking big deal.
But then you think, well, but then how could it, okay, yeah, we've spoken about this before, take it to the extreme. My neighbour, imagine if I have to think to myself, I think my neighbour John has seen my labia. Okay, it's going to be awkward the first time I have to go out to my car and he is also out with the leaf blower. And I have to eyeball John and think, wow, you've seen my labia. And he's eyeballing me thinking, I've seen your labia. But then what?
Does he say, nice labia?
And even if he does.
You go, thanks, mate. See ya. Have a good day.
Is it the end of the world? Does it physically hurt me or my kids or John?
What if he said, oh.
Rough labia.
Yeah, like.
Hurt?
Yeah.
Okay.
No one wants to hear rough and labia together.
Seen your labia, mate, and.
Ooh, she's not looking.
Rough. Imagine, we're going to all have to have some bloody manners about it.
Yeah, well, rough, yeah. I don't think we should use the word rough.
I don't want any. We're going to have
just that image of rough as well. Ooh.
Now I'm wondering, have I ever seen a labia?
She's got a few miles on her.
Miles on the clock. I'm wondering, have I ever seen a labia that I would describe as a rough?
No. Let's just go with no. Yeah.
I don't think so, but people are much choosier these days. But that's the worst case scenario I can think of. John, my neighbour, describing my labia as rough when I'm just going to pick up the kids. I don't need it.
Would you say, fuck you, John, with your tiny penis?
I haven't seen his penis.
Yeah, but you say that. It always gets, you
just
say that.
You're so right.
If you just say that, everyone...
Yeah, well, you've got a tiny cock. And he'd think I mean his roosters because he's got about 3 of them at the back. Look, yeah, it's a complicated world. Or is it? Or is it actually a very simple world and we've all got them? And is it going back to the conversation we've had where...
Get them out, monetize them. Get them out, monetize it.
Mic drop. Get it out, monetize it. That's the end of the conversation, yeah. And
shake what your mama gave you, guys.
I love it.
You know?
Shake your money maker.
Shake your money maker. How many other lyrics can we come up with here that relate to the story?
Oh, heaps, I'm sure.
Take your mama out all night.
Yes. I don't feel like dancing. I mean, we can...
My neck, my back.
What's the next one? My crack?
My neck, my back, my pussy, and my crack.
That's it, yeah. I mean, they all work. And I'm just thinking Denise Richards and her daughter. Her daughter was going to go on OnlyFans and she said, I feel weird about it, but I tell you what, I'll go on it too. And now she's making like $2 million a month. But she is Denise Richards.
Anyone listening to this podcast that is willing to talk to us about being on OnlyFans,
yes,
like let us know if you're actually someone who is monetizing it.
Yeah.
Right. And you're enjoying it, and you're not feeling shame or anything like that. And you want to have, we can keep you anonymous. So we can put that funny voice thing on you. Yeah,
we can, because I have genuine questions. Like, you know what? I've said this before. I think it's probably overpopulated now.
It's not that weird.
My suspicion is if I started an OnlyFans now, no one would notice, no one would care. I wouldn't make any money because there's nothing I can offer that isn't being offered by a million other people.
True crime nude.
I'm too late.
Nude, true crime.
It's probably already nude, true crime. I think I'm too late to the party, but am I wrong? These are all questions. And tell me if no, you are too late, Michelle. Don't even bother. I would love to talk to a real OnlyFans creator about the reality of the business.
You don't want to say the word creator, do you, there? They
Don't
are. Well, do you?
Oh, yeah, I think so. I think
They're creating.
I think.
Yeah.
I think they're doing the same thing Joe Rogan's doing and the CEO's doing, essentially. Aren't they? Aren't we all doing the same shit? Labia.
Just putting shit out there?
No, Labia. We're all just throwing shit at the wall, mate.
Yeah. It would be great if everyone
Some of us are throwing our labias at the wall. And to be honest, on OnlyFans, some people might actually be throwing their shit against walls. I don't know.
Don't you ever think now as well in this time as we're creating, we're sitting here creating just consistently.
Yeah.
Do you ever think, fuck, can everyone just stop creating? Like
every day I think that. Fuck off.
Can we just calm down the level of creativity
Can we
that's out
take it
there?
back to the days where, creators were not very many people, where there was gatekeeping? I want to go back to gatekeeping.
No, you know what? Don't worry. No.
No, I know, I don't.
You know what?
Really.
Because natural selection
Yes.
is gatekeeping.
The cream always rises to the top.
Grab your phone out for a sec.
Right, okay. What do you need?
What percentage of people in the...
This is a tell me you're old without telling me you're old moment. Yeah.
What do you mean? Are they new glasses?
No, when you have to put on glasses to do anything.
No, they look good though.
Thanks, mate. What percentage of what? They're from the chemist. No big deal. Yep.
How much?
Less than 20. I don't
Okay.
remember, yeah, like 19. But
So do they do the job though? Of actually,
they do the job. Again,
are you supposed to go to like a proper shop to do that?
Yeah, you're supposed to go to. They're so expensive, and I lose things so often and break them. I can't afford hundreds of dollars on glasses.
Just Google.
I'm spending it all on facial treatments.
Can you do this on ChatGPT this time? Because instead of
yes,
actually,
thank
this
you
is the
for
first time to
reminding
actually
me.
not use Google to Google.
Thank you for reminding me.
Chatty,
Okay,
jump on Chatty
Yeah.
and just say, what percentage of people on the planet are creating content today?
Oh, I love it.
Right?
Percentage.
Now, I'm going to guess this is in like a 1 or 2% factor of the planet.
Today.
How many people? How many people are doing it? 100 and something million?
Searching the web. It's because I've only got 2 bars. Don't judge Chatty by how long it's taking. As of early 2025, approximately 25% of the global population is actively engaged in content creation.
Okay, yeah.
Now, can I put this into context for you? Half the population of the world doesn't have internet access.
Yeah.
So if 25, I'm not good at maths, but that's significant. Only half of us have access to
here's the thing.
internet.
Out of that
But a quarter of us.
Out of that 25%,
Yeah.
who are actually in the top, I'd say it's like it's a 1% game, right? Like you've got to be in that 1 or 2% game to actually be able to monetize.
Of course. Over 200 million individuals worldwide identify as content creators.
200 million. Okay, so then there's 7 billion people on the planet. What is 7 billion divided by 200 million?
7 billion. Oh, God. Okay.
Or actually, what's the percentage of 200 million?
What? It's 25%. That's what they gave us first.
Yeah, but I don't think that's correct.
25% of the global population is actively engaged in content creation. That translates to 200 million individuals who identify as content creators. Full-time creators.
Yeah.
Approximately 46.7% dedicate themselves entirely
Out of that 25%.
out of that 25%.
Right.
And then 42% say I'm a part-time creator.
You're right.
10% say I'm a hobbyist.
Yes.
With the global population estimated at 8.08 billion,
Ooh, okay.
the 200 million content creators represent roughly 2.5%.
Mate.
Shit! You were right.
It's a yeah, okay, great. This is good.
Growth. It's expanding
So
rapidly. We know that.
there's your, what did you ask for before? Your moat or whatever you said?
I can't remember.
What did you say? Where was a closed community or something?
Gatekeeping.
Gatekeeping. There's your gatekeeping. So there's 98% of people not in the 2%.
Yeah, of course.
There you
We
go.
know that. Yeah.
Does that make you feel better?
Well, the gatekeeping element of it is that most of them are shit. I mean, that's the gatekeeping element.
People could be listening to this going, yeah.
Yeah, fine. But I'm saying, I spent a night on TikTok once watching these 2 blokes lying on mattresses who every time someone played the chicken dance, they got up and danced to it.
Great.
Because they got $5 for it.
Mate.
They're content creators.
No, mate, here's the thing. You and I would have done that back in radio days.
For nothing. No extra.
We were there doing the
for
chicken
nothing more
dance.
than what we were paid every day.
Exactly.
Yeah, but
that
I'm
would
saying
be some dumb producer that would give us the idea and then we'd go,
yeah.
we're doing that at 8:10 today, are we?
Don't laugh about
Wow.
it. Carrie and
Wow.
Tommy are doing it next
Wow.
week.
That was our life.
It is. It's still your life if you're in radio.
Mum on OnlyFans, you loving it? Or how are you feeling about it?
Yeah, I absolutely love it. And I love Denise Richards, so I loved it when she did it, and I love that she's absolutely killing it on there. And I love that you and your mum have got this in common, even though you find it really awkward. You know, what I will say to that is...
Well, you're both in the 2%.
You're both in the 2%, but also the funny thing about life that I'm learning is that, you know, you will be your mum one day. Like, you'll look back at this and laugh. You'll be in your 50s one day and laugh at how awkward you found it that your mum was still a sexual being, for example, and you'll think, well, I'm still cock hungry as hell. So it's funny that I looked at my mum at my age and was like, ugh. So it's all good. It's all wonderful. I'm filing it under I love it, all of it.
Have you ever downloaded the OnlyFans app?
Yeah, I did. And in fact, because I went to...
I didn't expect you to say that.
Yeah, no, remember we did it. I think we did it on air once. And then recently, every now and then I get a yen to look at OnlyFans for some reason. I just think, okay, look at OnlyFans, see what's actually going on. I make so many jokes about it. One time I made the former Premier of Victoria, Dan Andrews, say OnlyFans. Like, he was giving a speech, and he and I have always had a fun relationship, and he was standing at a podium in front of all these people. It was kind of a relaxed night, and he said, feel free to take photos of this, and put it up on your Facebook or your TikTok. And he happened to catch my eye, and he just went, have I missed any, Michelle? And I went, OnlyFans. And he just naturally went, your OnlyFans. And then I could see the moment where he realised what he'd said, So I think I make a lot of jokes about OnlyFans. I should look at it. And just recently I went to log on and remembered I do have an account. But even that day, I got bored and wandered off and did something else. So I've never...
You don't want to be watching.
I just want to watch.
You want to create, mate.
Well, no. I want to learn first.
You want to learn.
I want to see...
What's
I think
out there?
when I always walk away is when I realise, that's right, I've got to pay money to watch this shit. And then I go, I'm not that interested. But don't you think you'd have to do your research before you started in OnlyFans?
Mate, I'd just go on there like your ex-husband. Just start doing the windmill.
Maybe I have got a rough labia. I need to look at all the other ones first to make sure.
All right, let's get into another secret.
Okay.
I fake Teams activity. I think this is like Teams like using Zoom.
Yeah.
I fake Teams activity by nudging my mouse
Love it.
with a battery-powered toothbrush.
Yes.
My boss thinks I'm working late every night. I'm actually watching Netflix or out for drinks. My green dot, this freaks me out. My green dot hasn't gone red in 4 months. Now, I've never worked in a job where I would feel the pressure to have my green dot on. So are there jobs where they're monitoring that?
Obviously there are. And keystrokes. There are jobs where they're checking that you're not just sitting there doing nothing, that they're accessing your keyboard. And
so she's done a Homer Simpson at the bloody at the power plant with the bird, just fucking
Great reference. Awesome reference. Yeah, absolutely. It reminds me of when they started homeschooling and my kids had to be on Zoom all day, and some other kids in their class figured out how to change their screen name to whatever the word was like unresponsive, or change it to the word that made it look like there was a glitch, made it look like their internet had dropped out. But it hadn't. It just, they just got out of it for a session. And then the school got onto it and sent out a message to the parents going, by the way, we've realised that this is happening, it's not going to work anymore. But I think that's humans. Whenever someone devises a way to try and stop us cheating, we will then devise a way to get a workaround.
Why not?
Yeah. Why not? It's like blokes in jail. All they've got to do is think about shit to do. They when you've got all day to think about a new scam, you're always going to be steps ahead of the bloke who's got to end the scams.
Totally. Yeah.
Think of it that way. Put your prison
prison
hat on.
Yeah.
Just think about the red dot that way.
How do you file that secret?
Perfectly understandable. Sorry, it's going to happen. You can try and count my keystrokes. I'll think of one of these guys.
All right. If you've got a secret you want to share it on the podcast, all you have to do is go to the link in the bio. We'll catch you again tomorrow.